This tutorial serves as your guide for performing configuration-based theming and customization of your Chat SwiftUI app. It focuses mainly on the basics of modifying the default look and feel. Specifically, you will learn how to override colors, fonts, and images. We have a lot to cover in this tutorial, so let's get started. This tutorial requires you to create a blank SwiftUI app in Xcode and integrate it with the Chat SwiftUI SDK. But the process is not covered here. Looking to learn more about the integration processes involved, the following tutorials give all the essential information to help you achieve your goal. The first is this blog post, Build a SwiftUI chat messaging app. It helps you to set up the blank SwiftUI project with the Chat SwiftUI SDK. Next, we have a video version of the same blog post. You can watch this short video to help you set up the blank SwiftUI app with the Chat SwiftUI SDK. You can also find the official Chat SwiftUI SDK on GitHub from the URL getstream/stream/chat-swiftui. Let's look at what is possible with the basic theming options. Through theming, you can customize the look and feel of all UI components provided by Chat UI. The SDK allows you to change appearance of components such as color, images, and fonts. This is done through the appearance class. Changes to the appearance should be done early as possible in the application lifecycle. In the case of this SwiftUI app, we need to do all the theming changes in the Swift file called appdelegate.swift. I will show you the appdelegate file later in this video. So let's look at the start and the finish project. So this shows the default look and feel of the Chat SwiftUI SDK without any theming performed. So our job is to learn how to change color of the UI element, fonts, and images. Let's look at the finished project. As compared to the UI I showed before, you can see we have changed the color of the channel list. There is also the background of the channel list changed. We have changed the color of the text as well. And in the chat view, you can see the font size of the chat bubbles are increased. In the chat area, we will change the font size of the text in the chat bubbles and also change the background color of the chat bubble. So we are going to do all the appearance changes through the class appearance. The appearance style properties are organized into three groups. The first one is the color palette. The color palette provides a basic set of colors for all the UI components. You can find a full reference of the color palette from the documentation from this URL. Next, we have images, the set of images used by the UI components. The full reference to images can be found from this URL. The last property is fonts, the set of fonts used by UI components. A full reference of the fonts can be found from this URL. After creating the blank SwiftUI project in Xcode and fetching the SwiftUI SDK, the project structure in Xcode will look like this. You will have the actual SwiftUI app with all the package dependencies fetched from GitHub. The only file you need to add is appdelegate. This is used to set up the SDK. In this video, we will use the appdelegate file to do all the theming and customizations. So let's begin the basic theming. After running the app, the first screen that comes is the channel list. The first thing you may want to do is to change the title of the channel list. Let's change the title to Nodia Chat and change its color as well. As I said before, we will do almost all the customizations in the file appdelegate. But to change the title color and the title name, we will use the actual SwiftUI file, not the appdelegate. To customize the title, we are going to replace this with chat channel list screen and pass the title we want to use. Let's use Nodia Chat. We can change the color of the title by using the foreground color modifier. Let's define the color we want to use by creating an instance of a color literal. We will call this color Nodia Dark Red and bring an equal sign. So I'm going to put color. In the parentheses, I will put the color literal by bringing a hash sign and color literal. This will convert it to an image icon. So we can click on the image icon to select a color from the Xcode color picker. So let's go to Order and make sure we have the grayscale slider. I'm going to change that and choose RGB sliders. Then I'll change the value to E70404. So we now have a dark red color to be used to style the title of the channel list. Let's pass the foreground color modifier and run the app to see what we have done. You can see we have changed the title of the channel list to Nodia Chat and changed the color to a dark red. By going to the messages list, you can see the color of the title has changed as well. When we scroll up, the color of the scroll to bottom icon has also changed. Let's do all the other theming in App Delegate. We will begin by changing the accent color. This is the color used for controls such as the navigation icons. To do this, we will create an instance of the color palette object. We do all the theming in the function application. So over here, let's create an instance of the color palette. Next, we will define all the colors we want to use. So I'm going to create them as color literal. We have the accent color, cloud blue, and dark pink. After creating an instance of the color palette, we need to pass it as a parameter of the appearance class, which allows you to style fonts, colors, and images. I'm going to create a constant appearance. So in the parentheses, we are going to pass this color instance. It takes colors, images, and fonts. But for now, I'm going to remove the images and fonts and pass only the color variable we just created. Next, we need to make StreamChat aware of the appearance constant by passing it as a parameter. So let's recap what we have done so far. We have created an instance of the color palette. Then we defined all the colors we want to use. Then we create an instance of the appearance class. And finally, pass the appearance to StreamChat. We can now go ahead to override the colors we want. Let's begin by overriding the accent color. We do this using the tint color. The tint color method allows us to override the accent color of the system. So we are going to use the instance of the color palette and set it using one of the colors we have already defined. Let's use Nodia accent color. Then run the app. Since we changed the accent color to dark green, you can see the navigation icon and the text have now changed to the dark green color. The color of the blinking cursor in the compose area changes, and all links in messages change as well. Next, we will change the color of the channel list name, chat bubble text, and context menu. The channel list names are all in white color. The text for chat bubbles are also in white color. By pressing and holding the message bubble, we get the context menu. You can see all the text are also in white color. We can override the text color with the color we want. We still need to use the color instance. So to change the text, we will put .text. And then we use the color we want to use. and pass one of the colors we just defined. Let's use the same dark green color, Nordia accent color, and run the app again. So the names of the list items are now changed to a dark green color. Also, the text on the chat bubbles have changed to the dark green color, the same as the text in the context menu. Let's look at how to override background color. We will change the background color of the channel list, as well as the background color of the chat bubbles. You can learn more about the types of backgrounds used in the SDK from the documentation. We have background, then background 1 up to 8. Then we have other types of background as well. I'm going to show you how to override few of them. The backgrounds of the UI elements do not have any semantic names. It is difficult to know which background is used for different sections of the app. Let's begin with background, that is used to override the background of the channel list, chat area, instant commands, and the compose area. To do this, we are going to use the instance of the color palette we created. Let's use the color we defined here, cloud blue, and run the app again. So the background of the list has changed. By going to the chat area, you can see the background has changed as well. We can also use background 1 to change the background of the search bar. So let's put colors.background1. Let's use the dark red color we defined in the beginning of this video. Then we run the app. And that changes the search bar to dark red. The next background we want to change is the background of the message bubbles. To do this, we need to use the background name, background6. Let's change it to cloud blue and run the app. So the background of the outgoing messages have changed to cloud blue. To change the background of the incoming message, we will use background 8. Let's change it to dark pink. That is this color we defined here. This overrides the background of the incoming message to dark pink, as you see here. Now you know how to change colors. Let's move on to fonts. To change fonts, we are going to do it in the same way we change the colors. In this example, we will increase the font size used for the text in the chat bubbles. The SDK supports all the dynamic type sizes the system provides, so you can override all the default styles listed over here. You can visit the documentation to see a full reference of the fonts supported by the SDK. To be able to override fonts, we need to create an instance of the font struct, like we did for the color. Let's create an instance. Next, we need to pass the fonts to the appearance constant we created, like we did for the color. We can now use the fonts variable to override the font we want. For example, let's override the body font. We can do this using fonts.body. Let's set it to large title and run the app. By going to the messages, you can see the font size of the text in the chat bubbles have now increased. By tapping and holding any of the message bubbles, from the context menu that appears, you can see the font size of the text has increased as well. Finally, let's look at how to override icons and images used in the application. In this example, we are going to replace the heart icon of the reactions with an SF symbol. So let's bring the SF symbol application. In the search, let's put heart. The one we are looking for is bold.heart.fail. By pressing Shift, Command and C, we copy its name. To be able to override icons in the SDK, we need to create an instance of the images class. Then we can use the instance to replace any icon we want. Let's create an instance of the images class. We need to pass these images to the appearance constant as we did for the fonts and colors. You can find a full reference of the icon names from the documentation. So this page contains a full list of icons you can override in the system. So in this example, we are going to override two icons, reaction laugh small and reaction laugh big. So let's use the image instance we defined to override the heart icon. Let's start with reaction laugh big. Then we set it with the name of the SF symbol I copied from the SF symbol app. To do that, we need to use UI image and pass system name as a parameter. For the string, I'm going to put the name of the SF symbol. I have this copied to the clipboard, so I'm going to paste it here. We have an error. We can fix the error by defining the image as optional, which means there can be an image or not. Let's now run the app. By tapping and holding the message bubble, you can see the heart icon has now been replaced with the one that has a bold sign in the center. By tapping the icon, we still see the default icon, which is changed to blue color. The name of this icon from the documentation is reaction laugh small. Let's copy this line and paste it here. Then we will change the name from reaction laugh big to small. Then we run the app again. So by tapping and holding the message bubble, you see the heart icon with the bold sign in the center. By tapping on that, we still have the same icon. And that is how to replace the default system icons with SF symbols. Let's look at how we can use Google material symbols to replace the icons. If you don't want to use SF symbols for the iconography of the app, an alternative is to use the material symbols from Google. Let's search for heart. The one that we want to use is heartbroken. By selecting that, you can go to the right inspector and choose the option iOS. Then on the bottom right, I'm going to download this as an SVG icon. So when I bring the download folder, you can see this is the icon we just downloaded. I have already uploaded this to the assets folder in Xcode. So this is the same icon. So we are going to use this to replace the heart icon. Let's replace the reaction laugh big image. I'm going to copy that, then put a comment here. Let's paste it over here. Since Google material icons are not classified as system icons, we are going to change this parameter from system name to named and use the icon from the assets folder, that is heartbroke. Then we can now run the app again. So you can now see the icon changes to the Google material icon we just downloaded. And that is how to replace icons in the system with Google material symbols. The last customization we will do is to add an app icon. This is not part of the theming. It is just an extra part of the tutorial. A SwiftUI app without a custom app icon looks like this. So you can see here we have the SwiftUI chat demo. I have replaced the app icon. Let's look at how to do that. We will begin by going to the Assets library. I have this app icon. I'm going to select it and remove it by clicking on this icon. We will add the app icon by using an app icon generator from the website appicon.co. What we need to do here is to upload an image with the size 1024 by 1024. I have already created this image in Sketch. So here we can export this image as PNG and save it in the download folder. Then we go back to the website and bring the download folder. I'm going to drag this image and put here. Over here on the right, you can set all the versions you want. For example, we are creating this app for iPhone and iPad, so we don't need to check the watchOS and macOS. So let's go ahead and click Generate. I'm going to save that in my Downloads folder. So when I bring the Downloads folder, by opening the folder, we have another folder, appicons.appiconset. By opening that, you can see we have all the versions. To bring the app icon to Xcode, we are going to drag this folder to the Assets folder in Xcode. So let's drag the whole folder and put it here. So we now have different versions of the app icon. Let's run the app to see the app icon. By going to the home screen, you can see we have the app icon updated. And this is all we need to do in this video. So to recap, in this video, we looked at how to override colors in the SDK. We went further to override fonts. And finally, we looked at how to replace system images with SF symbols and material symbols. We also added an app icon as an extra part of the tutorial. Thanks for watching.